everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. It is morning in Las Vegas, afternoon on the East Coast. And let me know if you guys are here. There's a question bar there, and you can type on in that you can see us and that you can hear us. And you should have me on your screen, and you should have John on your screen. I'm here with John Verdeau and Holly McRae today. We're hoping Holly pops in. But John can talk to us about everything to do with real estate and team building and leads and leverage and systems. John is one of my best friends in SEO and digital marketing in real estate. He's one of the only people I can tag and say, John, help me here. High five. Give me. Let's talk about what we're doing together and mastermind on this. All right. So I see a couple of you guys there. All right, so, and some of you guys are watching this on playback, which is great because we are putting this on YouTube and transcribing it. All right, so if you guys have questions, go ahead and type them into the question bar there, and I'll try to look over there and see your questions as they come in. So, John, why don't you start by telling me a little bit about you and Holly. Let's start with production maybe for this year, last year, what your goals are, and then we'll talk about why you guys got into real estate.
Okay, sure. Well, thanks for having me, and I'm sure Holly will slide in as soon as she can. She's not in the office, but she'll be chiming in, and we talked about it earlier, so she'll be here soon. Production for this year, we are, as of yesterday, just under about 36 million in volume total.
Okay, so $36 million in volume so far for this year.
Right, and that translates to just about, right around 200 sides. For us.
Wow.
So in our market, average sales price for us is around 200,000. So we, you know, depending on your market, how that works volume-wise, but that's where we're at in terms of size, about 200. So we're tracking at this point to in that 450 range based on, you know, it's hard to project out 6 months, but based on the next 90 days and what we think we'll do in the fourth quarter, we'll probably be in that 450 range.
That's huge. And where did you close out last year, 2016?
We did, and I will pull that up right now, we did finish the year at 2.5 million in GCI and about 75 million in volume, and that for us was 428 sides for the year in 2016.
Okay, where did I get the number 300?
Well, that's, if you average over the last 3 years, that's probably where we've grown a lot.
You're such a numbers guy. You had to give me the average.
So 2015, we were right around that number. We were below that 2014, and now last year we hopped up to 428. So if you average out the last 3 years, you're right on the money.
Wow, but you're 2 years in a row now. You're going to exceed 400 units.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Oh, look who's just come in.
I see you, honey. Hi. You're a little pixelated, but that's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad at this.
That's okay. No, that's okay. No, you look beautiful and you're coming in good now. All right, Holly. So just because I know we may lose you, tell me why you got into real estate.
Oh Lord, at the very beginning, God has a sense of humor.
You are making me nervous. Are you driving? You going to an appointment?
No, I'm taking you with me. I have lots to do. Lots to do today, girl.
All right.
So you're going with me to houses. So,
stop. What are you? Tell me what you're doing right now with these houses. Where are you going?
This little guy is going on the market soon, and he's one of my flips. I flip for fun. Is he cute?
There's the quote. There's the quote. I flip for fun. Holly McRae.
Yes.
Okay.
This is like a reality show. It's like House Hunters live.
Kind of.
So you guys are doing over 400 units a year, and now that means you get to go flip for fun, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's one of the ideas for sure. It's a lot more fun, you know, they don't talk back.
Holly has little patience and lots of patience all at the same time. She's an amazing woman. So just for all of you guys that don't know, Holly is kind of, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Holly is kind of the out front leader of the team as far as the sales team goes, right? Leading and cultivating and growing the people, and John is doing the managing the all the leads and administrative side, the tech stuff, the people on that side. Is that right, John?
Marketing and operations. That's totally me.
Marketing
I'm
and
the face, he's the brains. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
You're the face.
Holly manages the sales team, and she's the CEO of and as the big picture thinker.
All right, Holly, what's been your biggest obstacle in getting up to over 400 units?
Oh gosh, the biggest obstacle is people. I mean, finding great talent. That's the biggest thing that we all face, I think. I mean, it's just really getting great people in there that you can send out into the world and put your name on.
Yeah. And so what have you found didn't work, and what are you finding is working when it comes to those challenges with people? So, like, where did you go, oh, this may not have worked, this was kind of, I screwed up over here, or I didn't screw up, but this is what I tried.
How long did you got for that? I could mistakes all day long. You know, really and truly, Lori, it comes down to just talking to everybody you can, I think. You know, I mean, there are certain industries that we found where we find really good people. I mean, the cell phone industry has great training for salespeople. Don't tell any of your cell phone friends.
Okay, hold on. There's a takeaway, guys, there. Make your note. Okay, go ahead.
So they do a great job of training in the wireless business. And a lot of those people realize really quickly that houses cost more than phones. So commissions are bigger. So that's been a great thing. Really digging in and really understanding behaviorally who's a fit for what position, that's been huge, huge. You asked me why I got into real estate, and that is because I sold a business because I hated managing people. I know, there's the irony, right? But I realized that I didn't.
I get it. I didn't
I know you do.
How to hire at all. So it was me. I was the problem. I didn't get it at the time. So here I am.
Okay, so what year did you get in?
2002.
2002. So that's not even that long of a. I mean, that's a while. 15 years. Did I do the math right, John? Is that 15 years? Okay, so Tom's going to check my math. Yeah. So and do you remember what you did the first year you were in real estate, production wise?
No, I just know that I made $55,000.
Okay, you know the money part. You don't know.
Yes.
This is how it works around here. John is the numbers guy. Holly speaks in dollars. Right?
Yes, yes.
And
how many houses do I have to sell on the open market to buy a flip? That's
okay.
pretty much how it works.
All right. So as far as your real estate team goes, what does it look like now? Either one of you.
Go for it, John.
Okay. Yes. So we have Holly at the top. She's obviously CEO. I am considered the CFO, COO. Okay. Right down one notch up if you had an org chart showing. We also have a sales manager in place who manages the sales team, the ISA, the listing side, the buyer side. We also have a listing coordinator who is a lot of things, but mostly the listing side ISA.
Okay, hold on. Let's pause for a second. So Sabrina's got the org chart, you guys, and I think she's putting it in the there's a handouts button, and she's got the org chart for you. So
okay, perfect.
So let's slow it down just for those that are really new at this. So so Holly, CEO, then John, CFO, COO, and they are married, by the way. They are married. Okay, and then John. Okay, so then you have administrative, and you were saying who is on your administrative team?
Well, right. So on on the admin side, we've just recently hired an assistant that works under me, and she handles a lot of the admin tasks for the marketing, on the listing side, putting paperwork together. Anyway, we have an executive assistant there, as well as a VA that we also have hired for listing marketing. So those are what I would consider our admin, especially helping out on the tasks on the listing side, because there's a lot of things that go into that.
So you only have two admin, an executive assistant, or three, executive assistant, a listing marketer, listing manager, and a virtual assistant, or is that just the two of them?
Well, it's just a virtual assistant and an executive assistant. Okay.
Wow, to do 400 units.
Well, on the listing admin side, yeah, that's pretty much it. So We do have a second VA, but she specifically works with our listing coordinator, and she does almost exclusively now listing research. So when someone wants to put their home on the market, she's compiling comps and putting the packets together and doing the CMAs. So all that work on the side, getting ready for those listing appointments, is done by her. So all we have to do is put together a recommended listing price, give it to the listing agents, and they've got their packet ready to go to the appointment with all the information. So that's what that VA is doing, specifically with the listing coordinator. But as far as support goes on the strictly on admin, that's what we've got going there now. Like I said, we've got a sales manager, and he is in charge of the listing team, the buyer team right now, as well as our ISA. We have one exclusive ISA, and then we have a...
Pause you for a second. I got a couple of questions coming in regarding those, and I thought of one too. So your virtual assistants, are they in the Philippines, or are they local?
My desk, yeah.
Okay, so you have a VA in the Philippines doing comps?
Yeah. She's been doing it with us for several years now. So she has access to MLS. You know, now she's so good that we just send her the property address. She goes in, starts pulling all the information, and next thing is she compiles everything and then sends it to the listing coordinator, who then, at that point, looks over the research and then finalizes a recommended list price for the listing agents to go in, so they at least have some idea what, and they can speak intelligently about the house when they go to the appointment.
Was your how'd you find that virtual assistant? Did you train? Were they already trained, or did you have to train them up to do that?
No, we had to train them. I mean, we obviously went through the process that my desk has for hiring. We interviewed several people, and just like any sales position we have when they're brand new off the street, as long as they're a fit for what the tasks are and their personality matches what they'll be doing, training them wasn't hard, and she's been a great fit. We've had both of our VAs now for almost 3 years.
So who do your VAs report to? You?
So one of the VAs reports directly to me, and then the other one reports to the listing coordinator, the one who does the listing research.
Okay. And for those that don't know, so he said my outdesk is where he's getting his virtual assistants from, because I know that's going to come up next. Most of our audience will be watching this in a playback, so I know that those questions will come in, so I'm trying to pause them and hit them where they're coming in. And then, okay, so the virtual assistants, and then you had gotten to ISA.
Yes.
Okay.
So ISA has been a challenge for us. We've really struggled in that arena. And
ISA stands for Inside Sales Agent. That's the first thing. Cultivates leads.
Inside Sales Agent. She's booking appointments. Her job is to book appointments for our listing and buy team. So it has been a difficult part of our business to get right, and fortunately now we have somebody in that position who's doing a wonderful job, and that's what she does. She sits in the office and she is booking appointments for our agents, and things are going well to this point.
So she is more of an outside sales agent. She's calling out versus she's not coordinating incoming leads. She's out prospecting, cold calling. What, Holly?
Go ahead, Holly.
She's doing both of those.
She does both of those. Okay. Now, does your OSA have a certain or ISA? Does she have a certain criteria that you guys set for her and hold her accountable for appointments, or have you do? And what does that look like? Or do you have those numbers?
She has to book a ton of appointments a week.
That's Holly. She has to book a ton of appointments a week or she's fired. That's all.
She's booking about 15 appointments a week is what she's booking for the list side and the buy side. It's as close as we've ever gotten. It's not very fancy like our buddy Lance. We're not that advanced. She's just fantastic with people. She's fantastic with on the phone. She's making outgoing calls, taking incoming calls, and she's working with buyers and sellers. So she's everything, it all wrapped up in one, and she's doing about 15 appointments a week.
Can you define what an appointment is? Because everybody defines those differently. Are they, previewing a home? Are these listing appointments? What do those look like?
It's either a listing appointment where the agent actually meets with the seller, or it's a buyer's consultation where the agent meets with the buyer.
Okay. So she's setting appointments for both buyers and sellers, both incoming and both outbound, and she has a minimum of 15 appointments. Did you say a week?
Right.
A week. Okay. Is she tracking dials, like how many dials to get to how many contacts? Because that always seems to come up, like.
Calling through the database, so she's tracking. That's all tracked.
Okay. I didn't ask that in advance, but that's always a number I like to get, is how many dials are you finding your people have to make before they get to a contact, and how many contacts before they get to an appointment? Because
the beautiful question is that we have a sales manager who can answer that now.
Oh, yay! Okay, so tell me, after ISA, tell me about your sales manager. That was the question I skipped over. The sales manager, now I'm going to just be really direct with you guys because I know I can do that with you, Holly, right?
Yes.
Your sales manager, can you tell me how they get paid?
Commission.
Commission, no salary.
Everybody on the team is paid on performance, myself and John included.
Mm-hmm.
That was the sales manager. Now, there's a caveat to that, and that caveat is that in Tennessee, you cannot legally pay a licensed agent a salary. So that's a problem. We're definitely up against the wall with that. So he's agreed to take commission just like the rest of us, and he gets paid a portion of proceeds.
Okay, so in Tennessee, a licensed real estate agent cannot collect a salary, even if it's administrative?
Well, if you're an assistant,
yes.
But
you can't collect commission as a sales agent. You can't collect a salary as a sales agent.
Right,
okay.
You can't sell real estate in exchange for a salary.
Okay, now your sales agent, your sales manager, are they in the field producing?
In some capacity, yes.
Okay, and otherwise he makes an override commission on profits or on production, on all production, or she?
On production.
Yeah, he's paid a portion of every closing.
So he gets like 10% of the commission or whatever it is on every closing.
We'd rather not say his percentage, but yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
All right. Well, I was going to go for it as far as I could go with you, Holly.
I know you were.
Numbers.
All
right.
That thing that people don't like,
Here's the reason why I asked that too, is because as we all know that when you start, and I'll come back to your org chart because I got sidetracked a little bit. As we start to build our teams, there is an area of profitability drain, right? Because we're bringing on all these people if we're not increasing production, and then that's draining. And the other challenge is, how do we get top-notch people, pay them well enough to where they can afford to run our team or to be on our team, and yet not drain everything that we make at the same time? So that's really what I was going for, that question, not trying to find, I'm just kind of getting a ballpark, like, is this a six-figure position? Is it a six-figure position, or is it a potential six-figure position?
Definitely over figures.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's going to be over six figures.
Yes.
Because you guys are doing 425, 450
That's
units.
a lot of crazy to wrangle every day.
Okay. How many agents is your sales manager now leading? Because you are going back to your org chart. Listing agent, buyer's agents.
10?
Okay, so you have 10. How many of those are listing agents?
3.
3 listing agents now. Wow. Okay. And they're kept very busy.
Yes.
Can I ask how, without giving away how much, like the listing agents, they make a percent of every commission?
They do.
You want to share with me what that is, or what it looks like, or around about?
Well, listen, our goal is for everybody on our team to make over 6 figures.
Right.
So we operate under the thought process that if you're not making 6 figures, either we're failing you or you're failing you.
Okay, so if a listing agent, I should not do math, but if a listing agent were to do 100 units at 200,000, you said your average price is 200,000, so it's $6,000 your average commission still, right? We just passed that.
That's about right. Yeah.
So 600,000 in commission.
What?
Did I do that right? 100. Okay, don't do math on camera, Lori, ever.
Well, 600,000 total, but they get a percentage of that. So what I can tell you is this, Lori, that both
10%, it would be a $60,000 position. If it's 20%, it would be a $120,000 position if they were 100 listings. Am I close?
Yeah. So I'll just say this: they're going to do less in production than that probably, and they're on track to make over 6 figures.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably double that commission and less units.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all tracking towards a 6+ figure income this year.
Okay. Jonathan wants to know what are the responsibilities of the sales agent division? Are you talking about the leader, John, or the people on the team? I assume he means the leader.
The sales manager?
Sales agent division of responsibilities. So what is a sales agent? Okay, difference between what? The listing agent and the buyer's agent. Okay, he's trying to type fast so he can keep up with me talking. It's coming in little blurbs. So your sales agent, your listing agent responsibilities, what are their differences?
Between the buyer's agent and the listing agent?
Yeah, that's what it looks like I'm getting. Is that right, Jonathan? Is that what you're asking?
I think across the board, I will tell you that our big deal is that they are responsible for conversion. That's what they're responsible for, period. From conversion and communication. So we want them to be able to be an expert at conversion from phone call to appointment, appointment to client, and client to contract. So either way, whether they're on the buy side or the list side, that's what they have to do. That's what we charge them with. We spend the money, we come up with the leads, we give them to them, we need them to capitalize and return that investment.
Both cases on your team, the leads were already generated, the paperwork is done for them, they have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to convert it to a listing or to a buyer agreement and convert to close and handle all of the negotiations and the things that could fall through the cracks all the way through. Really the same responsibilities, it's just the difference is one's a listing and one's a buyer. Yeah?
Right. And then once it goes under contract, we've got a transaction coordinator who takes it from there. So, yeah. So you take the leads, convert the business, manage the client, get the client under contract, and then at that point, the majority of the responsibilities are done then.
Okay.
Right.
What do you call your agents? What? Listing agents and buyers agents? What did you just call them?
Yes.
Listing agents and buyers agents. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. And do you have a showing assistant? Showing partner? You guys doing that model at all? Have you tried that model at all? Okay, just not something that you guys are wanting to do.
I can't figure out why it makes sense, actually. Maybe it does. I just haven't figured out how to make it work.
Yeah, and implementation's difficult because your buyer team, it's a long process getting that implemented, especially with the existing buyer team, because the immediate thought process is I'm going to make less money because I have to give up a part of what I'm making, which obviously isn't the case. But it hasn't been something we've needed to do to this point. So, and our buyer team is converting at a pretty good clip in the past. We've got some new faces that are working up to that at this point, but we haven't actually gone the showing agent model yet. If we do, we could. I mean, we're always open to change, but at this point, we haven't needed to.
Okay, so tell me where your leads are, or who else? Did I miss anybody on your team?
There's an actually coordinator, sales, obviously our sales team, our sales manager, VAs, an assistant. No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Okay. Holly, you're so distracting.
There's a gentleman at the door. We are, that'll be the next owner that you'll need to talk to.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Only Holly on an interview, I swear. Okay.
It was the AT&T guy.
Oh, it was the AT&T guy. Okay. So, John, going back to we finished your team structure. Sorry, now where was I going with the next question? Holly just completely threw me off with the guy at the door. I'm like stranger anxiety, and I'm not even there.
Yeah.
There's something at the door. I'm freaking out. Like, hide, Holly, hide, hurry. Okay.
Don't answer it. Yeah.
How do you get enough leads? Tell me where your leads are coming from to feed a team that does over 400 units.
Yeah. All right. So lead gen, that's my neck of the woods, Lori. That's what you and I chat about routinely. We're a little bit different than a lot of other teams where referrals is not our primary source of business. Now, that's good and bad. I will tell you we're getting much better with the referrals than we have in the past because we're making more of a point to it. But the majority of our referrals, well, it depends on the listing and the buy side. They're different. So I'll go through our top listing sources on the list side. We do a lot of radio advertising, which has been really effective for us for listings. That's generally our...
When you say radio, and I know you guys are big in radio. Do you know what percentage of your leads or your business is coming from radio?
Yeah, when you add them all up from all the different stations, it's about 30%.
Okay, so about 30%. So I typically find that, you guys, when it comes to lead gen, that the top teams will have one or two sources that are their leading sources, and then everything else comes after that. Every now and then I'll find three, but those three usually aren't that high. So you either have builder, or you have internet, or you have radio, or you have cold calling or prospecting referrals. So that makes perfect sense. About 30%. And then what's next?
Next is, believe it or not, is search engine. Is people coming through our website from Google and from whatever keyword string they come from, but we'll bucket all that into let's just say search engine. It's our second highest lead source, finding us on the internet. You know, we spend a lot of time making sure our presence online is as strong as possible, because we realize in today's day and age, most people are going to check you out online before they contact you. So what you look like on the first page of Google when they Google your business is so crucial. You know, is your Google business page set up properly? What's the first website that comes up? Is it your primary website? What does that website look like? All these things are important. Fortunately, we spent a lot of time on that, so it's become a very, very important lead source for us. So again, that's probably another 25 to 30% right there.
Great. Okay. And then what else? Anything else strong?
Referrals now are right behind that. You know, that probably is another 20%, and then you have the various sources.
What did you say? 20% what?
20%, you know, referrals of various sources, outside referrals. We have spent a lot of time working with our buyer team to make sure that if they are talking to buyers, they make sure that if they do have a house to sell, that we obviously get a chance to talk to them. We've done a lot of work with scripting there, because, you know, the buyer team and the listing team are doing two different things, but they're generating referrals now too as well, and we incentivize them to bring referrals to the team. So if a buyer agent brings a seller to the table, we give them a prize, and then if, you know, vice versa.
Go back a second. You give them a prize. Is it a cash prize, or you just give them some?
Yeah, they get $50. So they think that's great.
Yeah. You said a prize.
Yeah.
Well, he said a prize, so I'm like, is it a watch? I know Holly gives out Gucci, so let's talk about, or whatever you're giving out.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Well, so they love it because we give it out at the meeting, and it's in front of the entire team, and we obviously make a big deal out of it. And every week we put it on the screen, so they know that it's coming, and everybody knows who's referring business or bringing business into the team. So it works out really, really well.
Let me ask you this question really quick, because I know the answer, but somebody asked, John, are you able to see the questions?
No.
Okay. So somebody asked why in the world you would marry Holly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make a bad joke. I want Holly's attention, so I figured.
It's a popular question. I mean, really.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you find on the SEO side that there's not a lot of competition in your market? Is that why you're doing well? Are there not a lot of tech marketing sophisticated people in your market?
That's an interesting question.
There are, by the way. There are. I know several.
In full disclosure that you two are, like, you know, cut from the same cloth where it comes to that stuff.
So Knoxville's not Chicago. It's not New York City. You don't have 10,000 agents. You've got 3,000. And of those 3,000, maybe a third of them are actually out there really serious about their business. So from a sheer numbers point of view, you have less competition than you would from a larger city. But I would say in general it's changing. I think there's more competition coming, but historically speaking, not a lot of real estate agents focus on their online presence. You know, they realize that having a website's important, and they realize that leads do come from the internet. People are using the internet to either validate who you are or find a home or do most of their real estate research. But when it comes to getting down deep into what do I do to make myself look as good online as possible, you know, that's where it gets a little bit technical. And most real estate agents are salespeople. They're not, you know, detail-oriented, high C, get into the nitty-gritty for
Yeah, I'm not
learning
an IC, and
SEO.
I spend my day on SEO.
Well, that's true, but you're in a very rare breed. You know, they're few and far between. Most real estate agents want to go out and be in front of people. They want to sell. You know, that's part of the reason that they're in the industry to begin with. And sitting in front of the computer all day, figuring out which long tail keywords to rank high for is just daunting or miserable for most people. So
you need to go out and marry yourself a geek. If you're a Holly personality, you need to marry yourself a John. And if you're a John person, right? Or go hire yourself one. Come on, there's a lot of people out there.
Exactly.
And you can do that easily. You can totally hire somebody to do that for you.
Well, I love it, John, because one of my favorite things, and yes, you and I are cut from the same cloth when it comes to our digital marketing stuff, like Holly said, but a lot of people believe that you can't get business online from organic SEO and from Google and from, I mean, we do a little bit of paid and a little bit of Facebook, but our business too all comes from referrals and from search engines. And so you guys are a big example of a big team that's doing a lot of units, is running a big business off of building this in, and I know you spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, Lori, on the listing side, I mean, organic leads are very, very, very attainable. Buyer side's a little bit different. It's a whole different animal.
Can you tell me about that? Let's really quick, because that's what everybody loves to know, is tell me how you're generating seller leads through Google. Just a little bit, just a little snippet.
A rich snippet.
A rich snippet.
That's hard to put into a little snippet because there's a lot of channels that comes through. But you got to remember, you have to think like a consumer. That's the key to being good at SEO, I think. And the consumer, when they're looking for, on the listing side, they're looking to find out about you, the team. What are you going to do? Like, what's the value proposition? Well, how are you going to sell my house better than somebody else, right? That's the consumer's goal. So they're interested in finding out who that person is and what they can offer, okay? So being able to, when someone's looking for, like for instance, a really great keyword to string to rank high for in your market is best real estate agents in X, wherever that is, or top real estate. It's a highly searched term. It's what a lot of people will use when they're just starting out. Like, I need to find a realtor and I need to figure out who the best ones are. You know, if you want to, that keyword string alone gets us a handful of listing appointments every month.
Okay, so when somebody types in best real estate agents in Knoxville, by the way, they're in Knoxville, Tennessee. They would love your referrals. Holly McRae Group, right? Is what we're, so if somebody types in best real estate agents in Knoxville and they find you, what is on that page?
So that page will most likely be we have several websites, but that's our hollymccraegroup.com main flagship seller specific website. You know, it's geared, you can search for homes on it, but it's geared more towards sellers, and what they're going to find is information like, for instance, reviews. They're going to see reviews and have easily accessible buttons and options available to check us out and see what other people have said about us. Our value proposition is right on the homepage. So if someone wants to see, you know, why we're better, we immediately get into that right away. Now, you don't want to overdo it on your homepage because you know, people aren't going to read a ton of information, but it needs to hit you quick with information that people really want to know about.
How about stats? Are you posting stats like you sell X% of homes and X% higher than
Yeah, and that's in that. If you go to the website, if you go to the bottom, there's that value proposition section. We go into that. We sell homes this much faster for this much more money, and that's all real data that we've put together from recent sales.
And so that is a huge difference between you and these boxed websites that a lot of people are getting, is that you're going in there and you're talking about who you are, but then what the benefits are to that seller, why that's of value to them, what that means. Nobody cares about a multi-million-dollar producer unless they understand how that turns into more dollars in their pocket when they're selling their house, right?
Right, and that's what it comes down to, Lori, and you get this. I mean, you have to think like a consumer. You know, you have to think of, you can take real estate out and think of why Amazon's successful or why any website is successful, because it gives instant gratification for what people are looking for fast. So we try to replicate that into the real estate website, meaning someone goes to the website, they can find out about us, they can contact us, they can get all the information they need right away. And it's real important It's not generic. And yes, we built our website from scratch for that reason, because we didn't want it to be like everybody else's, for one, and we understand that we need to make sure that the content is very relevant.
And you're doing a lot of pay-per-click for Google, on Google too still, right? Are you
Yeah.
getting seller listings from your paid advertising on Google?
Yeah, but it's only through home value. You know, the home value landing page. You know, I would say we've done a lot of trial and error with pay-per-click, and that's the only thing on the seller side that's really worked at a high level, and it's still working very well.
Are you tracking, and I know I didn't prep you with this question, so you can come back to me later if you need to. Are you tracking the conversion rates on those home value ads, and are you tracking per source or just as a whole? So we're getting a ton of them. I get them every single day, all day, but the conversion rates are pretty low on those home value.
Well, the registration rate from the ad is around 5%.
Okay, so what he means by that is, so for everybody that clicks through on the click and they go to his website, out of every 100, 5 become a lead, right? So 5%.
Right, they fill out the information. Yeah, right.
Register for something. Okay, so they
which I know sounds low, but actually it's not.
No, that's right. That's about average. 5%. Yeah. A 5% registration rate. 3% registration rate is a national average for e-commerce and that type of thing. So for real estate, 7% on an IDX registration, 5% on a home value registration is fantastic. And that way you can predict, okay, I need to spend, if my cost per click is $2. By the way, what are you spending per click on a home value ad in Knoxville?
Our budget is, we're spending on a monthly budget. I'm trying to remember, we just changed it. Just under $1,000 a month.
Home value per click is you got to be like, I mean, are you a couple bucks or like for us, home values climb up. I spend less than $2 a click on anything in Vegas until we get into the home value.
Yeah, we're right around there. It ranges from 50 cents all the way up to about $3.50.
Okay, so let's say it costs you $2 a click. So for everybody watching, it costs you $2 a click, and you need 100 clicks to get to 5 registrations. So at $2 a click times 100, you're going to spend $200, and you're going to get 5 registrations. So technically, it would be $20 a lead, or your cost per lead or cost per registration is $20.
It's about $28 for us right now.
Yeah, and then if one of those closes, then your cost per sale is $100. But that's only if you're going to group in that one little ad. You really group in all your pay-per-click together. But I just wanted to give people like a general idea of what that looks like. You'll do that all day long, won't you? Won't you spend I would spend.
And it generates listings and good ones too. And it's not the price ranges are all over the place. We've gotten $60,000 listings from it, and believe it or not, $2 million listings from it. So it's interesting. I always try to track demographics, which is a little bit different on Facebook, but for pay-per-click, seems to be all over the board, which is interesting.
Yeah, I find it other than geographical, it is much harder with pay-per-click to narrow in. I mean, Facebook has that down when you can click most likely to move or lived in their house for. My Facebook ad, one that I get down to about 50 cents, has people that have lived in their house 6 years or longer, single-family homes only. People that have no children, preschool age or what. I mean, I've got all these little. I wish I could do that exact same thing on Google AdWords, which we can't get that finite with to get that. Because for those of you that don't know, there's a relevance score and a quality score, and the more clicks you get that actually land and convert, your dollar per click or dollar per on Facebook can go down because the relevance is so high, and so that's just an FYI on that.
Right.
All right, talk to me about profitability. This is like the big key word. All right. So anywhere you're comfortable having that conversation, what people really want to know is when you're doing 420 homes, selling 450 houses, are you making more today than when you sold 200, when you sold 100? And what does it look like the bigger your team gets? Is that percentage of profit getting smaller, or what does that look like?
No, actually the opposite. I don't have the specifics in front of me, but so you have two different sets of costs. You have the team, obviously the commission splits that they're making, your agents and your ad sales manager, if you have one, ISAs, whatever your structure is. So you've got and then that gives you your gross margin after your team is paid, and then you have your fixed costs after that, which are, what you spend on advertising, signs, all of the other things that go into your business. And then after that, it gives you your bottom line, your net profit. What ends up happening is as your team grows, typically your fixed costs don't change much, or don't have to.
Unless you do something crazy with like your occupancy and you go buy a building and blow that up, right?
Right. If your rent expense goes up, sure, or you have to turn the spigot on for more leads, and you have to spend more on, Zillow or pay-per-click or whatever you're doing. But generally speaking, as your team grows, your fixed costs tend to stay fairly similar, at least when you're growing marginally. And so when you do the math, you have more agents, more sales, more transactions. Sure, your gross margin is going to be about the same, but because those fixed costs aren't changing, your profitability should go up.
You guys are in Gary Keller's Top 100 Mastermind. Have you got any insight on the profitability percentage that MREA 2 is telling us that a 7th level team like you guys, 7th level, by the way, means they're no longer producing. So Holly and John don't go take listings or go work with buyers. Holly flips houses. Obviously, she flips for fun. So other than that, they don't produce. So have you heard in the original MREA we had a 40% goal, and now I'm hearing somewhere between the 20 and 30%. What have you heard?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Really? They're not telling you guys what MREA 2 percentage is?
Now, full disclosure, we weren't able to go to the last event that he had. We had a conflict, so he may have mentioned it in the last one, but up till that point, we haven't heard anything.
Do you have an idea based on what you're living right now? I would think. I mean, gosh, I would think 28%, maybe 30. I can't imagine higher than 30 on a 7th level. But what do you guys?
Lori, think about the fact that we're spending a lot of money on lead generation, and our goal is to convert twice as much as we're converting with the same amount of leads. So when we focus on that and we don't increase that cost, the profitability goes way up.
Right.
So, when you're me, you don't really want the profitability to change. We just have to get better at our craft, right? So if we bring somebody in who is already able to convert 30% of the leads, and we train them up to convert, 55% of the leads, well, that cost didn't change.
Well, let me give you an example of where it would, and you guys can tell me how it didn't in your case if it didn't, okay? So sales manager is a perfect example. You get to the point now where you've got all these people. I know, Holly, you were up to your ears. You and I couldn't even sit and have dinner without you having to deal with a sales fire somewhere, right? The normal. And now you've brought in a sales manager to take care of that, and you said he's making 6 figures. Where does that come out of? So you didn't have that role. Are you paying your buyer's agents, listing agents less to compensate that? Because it's not going to immediately generate more salary.
Which, again, it's the same rule that applies. I mean, you're asking based on the assumption that we had to take it from somewhere. He's growing the business. Where I wasn't.
Yes, but there's chicken and egg right out of the gate, right? So you have,
Sure.
You did 4, what did you say, John, 2016 to 425? 425?
428, yeah.
And what's your projection for 2017?
In the 450 range right now.
Okay, so you would have done that without your sales manager.
Well, no, he's been with us longer than that. He was with us all last year.
Oh, so he was responsible for growth from 2015 to 2016. So he was responsible for the addition of 100 units or something like that. That's key. That's key to any hire, is getting them to produce or bring in the additional business, because if they don't, then you're just zapped. So I know a lot of people that bring in their ISAs in order to avoid that cost. They changed their model to pay their buyer's agents 35% instead of 40% or 45 instead of 50, whatever their model is, so that they didn't have to come out of pocket for that ISA. Did you guys do anything like that?
No.
You've had an ISA forever, as far as I remember, but so you haven't.
On and off.
On and off, right? All of us on and off. I hear that. So you guys haven't had any hires that you felt were a drain on the profitability at any point ever? Then you guys are
Every time spent is an investment in our world. So if we're going to spend money to bring you on and train you and get leads for you, then we expect you to capitalize and bring in more business. We all get
you're moving them out really fast, right?
What's that?
Or you're moving them out really fast if they don't produce and get going.
We do, but we're very upfront about how that's going to go and what we're going to do and what our goals are and what our measurables are, and you know, we pour in and pour in and pour in, and either it works or it doesn't, but nobody's surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you an example. What in my own case. So I brought in an inside sales agent 2 years ago. This was still when I had the really big team before I went to virtual, and now I'm putting the big team back together. I brought in an inside sales agent, and I believed with gosh, I studied Lance Logan and Tim Heil, and I interviewed their stuff, and I really believed that bringing in this inside sales agent was going to increase our production. My first goal was it had to increase conversion, and maybe that was my mistake. Maybe that was the whole mistake. I don't know. But I wanted him to increase conversion of all these web leads that were coming in, because if he could just increase our conversion by 1%, it would make a massive difference in our business. So that was my primary goal. So we got the systems and the dialers and the everything, and for 2 years, I mean, we tracked everything and what scripts and tested and texted, and you know, we found actually that just switching to a text system improved our sales better than the ISA did. And this is no offense to him, because he's a great guy. It just didn't increase our sales. So it came out of my butt, profitability wise, you know, because he didn't increase. So how do you pay that person's salary? It came out of mine. Bottom line, because it didn't increase. And I kept hanging on and thinking, okay, we're gonna get there. I see signs that it might get there. We didn't get there. So that's, you know, and I think most people have those kind of failures where, you know, a failure. I mean, we did a lot of good things, so I wouldn't consider it a failure, but it was a loss of part of my paycheck. So for me, that part hurt. But you know what I'm saying?
Remember, everybody's paid on performance. So if they're not performing, they're not making money. It's really not coming out of anywhere.
Good point.
Because in Tennessee, we can't do that.
Good point. Mine was salary. That is a very, very good point.
So that's a very different animal.
Very different animal. So that's a huge takeaway there. I know a lot of people put them on a draw or on some sort of salary, and that might be maybe in our industry when it comes to this real estate world, everybody is paid for. Your admins aren't paid by performance, are they? No, only on the sales side.
So, I mean, the reality is, if you think about it, I don't know where else you can go in the world or what industry you can look at where you can get a bunch of people who aren't being paid unless they perform to come in and work together to build something really big. And I look at that every day, and I'm just shocked and amazed that.
Holly, are you in charge of recruiting agents, or did your sales manager take that over?
Well, we are in the process of working together on that, but yes, ultimately I am. So I will interview them first, and then once they get through that process, if we think that they are, if they could work, then they'll go on to the second level, and then they'll meet with Michael. I'd rather have Michael dealing with the day-to-day and the actual business that we have, so I'll weed through them, and then I will send them to him.
Okay, and besides the cell phone business, wink, wink, where are you finding the best place to get talent for the real estate? Is it in real estate, or are they all outside of real estate?
Oh, no, it's definitely not in real estate.
They're all new.
No, most of our...
They don't hire real estate agents. They go hire people that are great in other industries, and they bring them over and train them. That's huge.
Business people. Because real estate agents, by nature, I don't think most of them are business people.
Yeah.
So we need people who want to run a business under our umbrella and who understand the process of closing the deal. Not closing as in signing and buying your house, but, you know, getting...
Well, what's the value to somebody that, are you looking for people that are making a certain amount of money or aren't making a certain amount of money? Are you looking for people that are already making 6 figures, or maybe they're making $50,000 and you want to get them to 85? What is your, like,
Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, we've had people in the medical sales industry who are already making a couple $100,000 who have interviewed us and wanted to come to our team. We've had people who are making $20,000.
How do you get those people to jump from a salary to a?
They're not on salary either. Listen, cell phone's not on salary. Medical sales aren't on salary. These are people who are already used to this.
Holly, you need a whole course on this. You need to go teach everybody how to build higher.
All day, every day. I mean, there's no reason to take the scenic route. I mean, go find like-minded people and hire them.
That's huge. John, I know we're going late, but really quick, tell me some of your favorite systems that you're using to run a team of 400 and 500 units, whatever you guys are going to do.
Oh, yeah, I love systems.
How many people are total on your team, did you say?
We're around 15, but it's changing rapidly. We're hiring, but we're in the 15 to 20 range.
Okay. All right, so go ahead. What did you say about systems? You're not really a systems person?
I said that's my fault, the rapid change.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it's a living, breathing thing. I think everybody's real estate team is like that. But as far as systems go, I mean, it depends on what we're doing. I mean, obviously, we use Dotloop for transaction management, which is fantastic.
How about a database, CRM?
Database, we are using Conversion as our CRM, and we just switched over to them earlier this year. And I'll tell you what, everything to this point's been fantastic. Obviously, there's a learning curve, but agents like it. It's got the features are fantastic for conversion. It has not as good as yours, but it does have an auto ISA component to it that does a good job, and so everything's going well there.
It's got automatic text campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does it email blast or any of those types of things?
It does. We use BombBomb for our email marketing.
Okay, so
you can email from it, but it's very limited in what you can do. But we do use BombBomb, which is way better and has been successful.
What auto dialer are you using?
What's the auto dialer, Holly?
Is it like no, you'll have like a no, I'm drawing a blank on all the auto dialer names. There's specific software for all of those. I just did a whole blog on it. For crying out loud. Okay, maybe you're not using.
The auto dialer's through Conversion. It's through the CRM, so it's already built in and integrated.
Oh, so it's probably one of those that's integrated with it. It's probably their software is integrated with it. I just don't know the system. Okay, gotcha. So it's integrated with. I know the name of it. I'm just not thinking of it. Okay, and then what are you using for tracking? Are you using any kind of? Are you just using Google Sheets or?
Well, we do have Google Docs. We use that for our appointments on the front end with our whole team because it's very easy to share. And our sales manager can manage it from one place. But we do use a program called KDNA to manage the numbers for the team that they have to go in every day and update their appointment numbers. And that tool alone is huge for us because it gives us one place to go to get all the numbers so we can track our conversion rates, and that's important. So
I'll tell you what's fascinating, and maybe you have this. As soon as and you've seen my stuff, but as soon as I start, Jeff built it for me. The integration between Infusionsoft and this other reporting system that's in France or something called ClickData. And I can now pull up a graph and see exactly the average commission per agent, what their conversion rates are on listings versus buyers, what their, all those little things. And I'll tell you, when you can look and go, okay, this is my team, and this one, his average commission per listing is $1,000 higher than the rest of the team, you kind of start going, ooh, what do we have to learn from this listing agent? Oh, he's taking 7% listings instead of 6%, or oh, he's he's better at pricing strategies than everybody else is. So we need to go look at this guy. I had
your
one.
Percentages tell the tale.
Huh?
Your percentages always tell the tale. All your numbers always tell the tale. Yeah.
Yep. It's basing decisions on evidence instead of emotion. I think that was that was something.
The best thing we ever did, Lori, if I was going to give one piece of advice to someone looking to build a team and to grow, is track as much as you can. As daunting as that may seem, the numbers never lie, and it's amazing what it uncovers. Because your perception and the reality is sometimes different. And when you actually start looking at the numbers, you can make really good decisions. And when we started doing that at a high level, or a higher level, I guess I would say, we were able to do some much better things for our business.
Yeah, it's not easy, and most real estate agents, like you said, don't want to sit behind a computer, and they're like Holly said, they may not be natural business people, and most are not natural numbers people in reality, right? But a big social group that great at sales, great at closing, great at energy, great at presentations, but maybe not as much of those things. So they immediately just shove that aside. If I asked most real estate agents right now, and it's only June, where and that have closed 10 transactions this year, maybe even 5, what percentage of your business came from referrals and what percentage of your business came from Google? They wouldn't know.
Right.
So how do you scale? How do you project for 2018 if you don't know what you did in 2017 or how you got there?
Right.
How do you create that roadmap? So that's something I've always appreciated about you guys. So well, you guys are fierce. I've taken up a lot of your time, and I think we've got so much more that we could dive into with things. But is there anything I didn't ask you that you think that I should have, or any advice you want to leave with everybody that wants to be a Holly or a John?
Oh, I don't know why they would want to be a Holly. Maybe a John for sure. I don't know. But I would say, look, don't veer off the path. I mean, MREA is a roadmap. And I will tell you, I did what I would guess many people did, and I read the book one time, and I put it down. I was like, I got this, no problem. And I failed miserably over and over and over again, and then I had to pick the book back up and do it again and read some more. So, don't reinvent the wheel. Just do what it says to do. It's not as hard as we make it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of MRE, as most people know as well. It's the model is there, the formula is there, how to build it, what comes next. The only problem I had is that I read it wrong. Like interpretation of what the words are. I mean, really, MREA is how to build a real estate team that is $1 million earning team, and where those compensations come in will mess you really up if you don't realize it was based on a team doing $2.3 million in production. Right. So if you try to pay 10% to a listing agent and no salary before you get to $2.3 million, you're not doing that kind of business. You can run into challenge. You know what I mean? Like those little pieces I needed better defined for me. Would have helped a little bit. But yeah, I agree. So how about you, John? Any advice?
Here's the thing that the simple fact of the matter is with hiring, that don't ever hire in desperation. Hire people that are the right fit for the right position. We've made that mistake. That square peg in a round hole, like they could be good, I just need them to be good, they want to be here, and then you shove them in there, and in 6 months they're either burned out or they quit. You make sure that you're doing your due diligence, follow the models, and hire for the right positions and use the right people for them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on all your success. I love you guys. You're fantastic. And John, I may have to bring you back one day to mastermind about some SEO and SEM.
Anytime. Like you said, there's not many of us, so I'm willing to talk anytime about it.
I need a friend. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Thank you so much. Bye.